Well, the newest chapter of Inhumans vs. X-Men is out, and I gotta say I'm a little disappointed. This one just feels too disjointed. There's stuff going on all over the place, and it doesn't really feel like they all weave together. Also, the art takes a little bit of a hit in this one. It's not bad, it's just not as good as it has been. With the writing being as slipshod as it is, and the artwork just not as compelling, I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed overall. I really could have done without this issue for the most part. There's a lot of stuff that was set up in past issues that gets resolved here real quick without much explanation. It's like they just had to hurry through things in order to get to the final issue next month. It's one of those stories that you feel like you could miss, like an episode of a TV series. It's not really compelling and doesn't really draw you in. The mystery of this new Clark Kent deepens, or it doesn't. It gets a little convoluted, actually. I'm a little unsure if we learned anything new or if we just got a summary of everything else that was there, but I mean, at least we find out that obviously he's not Clark Kent, but we kind of knew that already. But we know his memories are a little different from Superman, but I mean, we knew that already too. We still have stuff going on with Lana Lang. She's not cured yet. She seems to be getting better, but that story hasn't quite wrapped up yet. Oh, and that guy Blank who controlled people's minds, he's out again, and Hank Henshaw is involved, but he's not really there. I don't know. Honestly, I love Action Comics. I love what Dan Jurgens has been doing overall. I think it's a great book, but this particular issue was one of those where not really a whole lot seemed to happen, just the pieces moved from one place to another to get them to where they need to be, where it looks like some exciting stuff may start happening in the next issue, but this one was just there to fill the time. Once again, the artwork in The Flash is the top of the tier talent that other books are going to have to try to beat. It's some of the best I've seen in comics today. Not only in the way it's drawn, but also inked and colored. I guess the lettering works too. You don't really think about that as much, but overall it's a great looking book. The story, however, takes a little bit of a dive. Not a huge one. It's not completely horrible or anything like that. Just a tiny bit of disappointment because we've seen Captain Cold be a hero. He actually was a good guy for a while, even though he was working for Lex Luthor, but it seemed like he turned his life around. Now he turns back to crime, and then the crime goes wrong, but the crime was trying to get them out of a life of crime. But then at the end, I guess he's turning back to crime. It's just one of those things where you see some character growth and you hope it's going to stick and the story's going to take off, and in the end it really doesn't, and everything's reset. That's kind of the nature of comics, I guess, and it's not entirely horrible, just a little bit underwhelming. Well, this is the issue where some stuff finally happens. I mean, stuff happens in every issue, but it always seems so truncated and short. And this one, stuff actually happens, although it's still mostly a talky-talk type issue. The stuff that goes on with Dr. Pereira, the stuff that goes on with The Thing, stuff that goes on with Maria Hill, it's all interesting stuff. Even the stuff with Victor Von Doom and his mom. It's still interesting stuff. Although, I found out, I think, why I like this book so much, and what it comes down to is, ever since the Fantastic Four disappeared, there's been that hole in the Marvel Universe where they should be, and this book is actually starting to fill that hole. And I know how weird that sounds. Dr. Doom filled my hole. It's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, the fact is we've got Thing, we've got Reed Richards makes an appearance towards the end. But, you know, Victor Von Doom was always a spoil for Fantastic Four, and now he's the brunt of this book, and now we're starting to see all of this Fantastic Four stuff reappear in here. I don't think it's the return of the Fantastic Four, but it's still fun to read. Issue 30 of Letter 44 serves as kind of a catch-up for anyone new to the series, which seems kind of odd, considering there's only about 5 issues left. I'm guessing maybe this is the first part of the final trade paperback, and it wants to let you know everything that happened in case you're reading them with such a long delay in between their releases. Or maybe he just wants to remind people who've been here since 2012 what it is they've been reading this whole time. And although we do get a few pockets of random characters appearing and disappearing just to let you know that they're still out there somewhere, this really does serve as a good reminder and a catch-up on everything that's there. And for people who may have missed it all along, you could technically jump in with this issue and catch the end of the story. And it's probably not a bad idea, since it's a pretty good story.